There are two main categories when it comes to the fundamentals of reading. They are balanced literacy and the Big Five. First, there's interactive read aloud, which is the highest support. So when the teacher is reading a book to the students, it's kind of set up like a bedtime story, and she is modeling to them what good reading looks like. The teacher should pull from a variety of genres and allow the students to discuss what has been read to them. Next is shared reading, which has a little bit less support than interactive read aloud. And here the teacher will read from a big book that all students can see, and the students will read along with the teacher. Just like in interactive read aloud, in shared reading, the teacher is going to model what good reading strategies look like for the students so that they can practice later on. Next is guided reading, which is usually done in a small group. So the teacher will introduce a book to the students, give a book introduction, and then allow them to read on their own. During the reading, the teacher is there to help the students if they need it by scaffolding and giving them clues to help them figure out a word or a meaning. And afterwards, she's going to have a mini lesson. So the point of that is to ask, what point do I want to reinforce in this lesson? Finally, we have independent reading, which is the lowest support. The students are practicing everything that they've learned in the first three types of reading, and they are applying it on their own. It's really important that a classroom has a well-stocked library of familiar books or books that the students will find interesting. Next, we'll go to the Big Five of reading, and we're going to jump down to the second box. For phonemic awareness, that is the first part of learning how to read. It's understanding that words are made up of sounds. There's no print, just hearing the sounds in the word. Once a student has a pretty firm foundation of phonemic awareness, they start learning about phonics. So they learn that certain letters correlate to a certain sound in a text, which then leads to phonological awareness, so they can see that certain letters or a combination of letters make certain sounds. Next, we have comprehension. So once a student is able to decode, they need to be able to comprehend what they're reading. So in order to do that, the teacher can prompt them with within, beyond, or about the text questions that will help them better understand what they have just read. When teaching comprehension, there are four big things that the teacher needs to do to help her students. So first, they're going to explain the strategy and how to use it. They're going to model it for their students and then help guide their students. Let the students try it on their own, but give them some support. And finally, you're just going to have them practice independently so they can really solidify that reading strategy and comprehension. Next, we have vocabulary, which kind of goes hand in hand with comprehension. There are three types of words. There are function words, content words, and interest words. Function words are usually going to be your sight words like of, the, or that. And then your content words are going to be more of words that you can visualize. So usually those are going to be the nouns or maybe even adjectives in your story. And finally, the interest words are pretty self-explanatory. A good example to think about is if you're thinking about a 5-year-old who talks about velociraptors, that would be an interest word because most 5-year-olds don't know what those are unless it's something they're really interested in. The last of the Big Five is fluency. Fluency is the ability to read with speed and accuracy and with expression, and studies have shown that when students have improved fluency, that their comprehension is also improved. Balanced literacy and the Big Five go hand in hand. You can't really have one without the other. So you have to have phonological, phonemic awareness. You need to be able to comprehend what you're reading and know the vocabulary and be fluent in order to participate in interactive read alouds and shared readings, and in order to thrive when you're reading independently or during a guided reading.